Welcome back to another episode of Take Time Out with Tre Mosley. I am your host, Tre Mosley. And speaking of hosting, my
Oh,
next guest, uh, whether he's donned out in his suits at the Kentucky Derby, if he's courtside at NBA games,
mm,
and in some cases, if he's flown out all the way to Puerto Rico
ooh, yeah.
to be the hostess with the mostest. Uh,
Mhm.
he has done a little bit of everything, and we're going to talk about um, a side of VO that a lot of folks don't really touch on as much, and that's live announce and hosting. It's a
Mhm.
part of VO, folks, because you're using your voice. Um,
That's right.
Armon Newton is my guest today, and how you doing, man?
What up, Trey? Trey Mosley.
Oh yeah, he will blow out your speakers and microphones, and he's a energetic fellow,
Oh, man. Oh,
that he is, but it
thank
helps
you.
for the type of work that he does. So, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. That skill didn't benefit me much when I was in school, at least in elementary school at
Imagine
all.
that.
I was that kid, for years, even from like the first grade, I got held back in the first grade. And my mom, I was at the little meeting where my mom was like, "Well, why are we holding him back?" Well, I don't think he's learning anything. He talks quite a bit in class. I'm
Oh,
like,
where have I heard
"Uh,
that before?
yeah, I'm like, what? Okay. Then by the time I got to like second and third grade, they were putting me at the back of the class in this like a partition cubby,
Mhm.
right? It was a desk that had a partition on it, and I'm sitting behind there, so if I had a question for the class, you would just see my little hand peep out from behind these little partitions, and for the life of me, I could not figure out, like, why am I this special kid who gets to sit at the back of the room? I'm like, I'm not, I wasn't bad, I didn't, but they had to do that for the sake of not distracting me because I would talk and probably disrupt the classroom. And, now that I go back in my mind, I'm going, I can see that. So by the time I got to high school, it was like, all right, just let it loose. And by the time I became an adult, I found a microphone. I was like, I can act a fool and you're going to pay me for it. So it was a true benefit. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, 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 no. But see, that's the thing when you have a host interviewing a host, because the host usually asks the questions. So now you're being asked the questions, and it's like you're not the host, but it's okay. But
Please
that
forgive
that
me.
that that helps me lead into the question I was going to ask was, you know, what kind of child were you? Were you a chatty Cathy? But you've already taken care of that, so thank you. Well, this
You're
concludes
welcome.
our interview, and I have
Good
nothing
night.
more to ask. Good night, everyone. But yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel uh, and I know sometimes with kids like us, we have very vivid imaginations,
Hmm.
so things are just always running in here, and you have to
Yeah.
have outlets to be able to share or express
Yeah.
uh, those wheels that are turning in your head. So
Yeah.
out of school, I know they said, "Well, he's a distraction. How were things at home? Would they allow you to find a creative outlet, or
You
were you?"
know, kind of where I grew up, it was a blue collar town. So entertainment, entertaining, again, I was that kid in special ed classes, but I was smart. I didn't understand it. But they had to find a place to put me to where I would have an outlet. At home, I learned to behave at the dinner table real quick. I had that mom that did not play. So, I use that term still today that I know how to behave at the dinner table. But I had this outlet as a kid that I mean, my mom let me explore as much as she could. She's a single
Yeah.
mom, bunch of kids, but I was this one who had this energy. And someone asked me the other day at an event that I was doing, and she was like, "Is this an act that you put on? Is it, like, what is this energy? Are you always on?" I'm like, I said, "Well, let's put it like this. She goes, "Do you have to turn this on?" I said, "Well, as growing up, I had to learn to behave at the dinner table. But in this job and what I do, I'm being me. I'm
Right.
having the opportunity to be me because that's why I didn't fit in the corporate world. I just did not fit because I was disrupting the office when I tried. I mean, I couldn't sit still. And I was like, this is an outlet. And I said, this is me. And she said, huh. And she used me as an example with, I guess, a nephew she had or whatever. And I was like, but he's not I'm trying to put it the way she put it, but it was so eloquently how she put it, was it was an eye opener for her for who she was dealing with at home. And I
Mhm.
was like, as an adult, this is my energy, this is who I am, and I found my outlet to be able to do that and for it to be accepted. And I said, but coming up as a kid, they didn't understand me. They couldn't figure me out because I didn't sit like the rest of the class did, but I wasn't a bad kid,
Yeah.
and so no one knew how to navigate that and help me out. All they could do is just, well, let's just put him over in the corner. Let's go put him over there. Let's do that kind of thing. And so, but my mom used the belt to put me in line, and no one else could technically use that. So,
Like, we have
hope that
something
answered your
for you.
question. Yeah,
No,
yeah, we
that
got
that
some.
that we got something for you. Well, you wanna act up? Yeah. See me I had a teacher that when she was about to discipline you, let's say the principal walked in and the class is just acting up and, kids are kids, but you always have that one kid that may be a little too loud or a little too
Mhm.
energetic, and she would just cut her eyes and she go, "See me later." I'm like, "Oh."
Right.
If you got to see me later and she looked at you, your ass was grass.
Oh
And,
yeah,
Miss Bobby Haxton, if you're watching, see me later. No, I'm playing, but, she's
yes.
actually, one of my dearest friends. So, um, we go from bottling it up to now we get to shake it, shake it, shake it,
Mhm.
and plow, it explodes.
Explode.
What was something that you did that gave you maybe the confidence to be more expressive? Like you said, people like, "Is he really that way?" And you're like, "Yeah, I am." Like, when did
Mhm.
when did that Armand start to shape and take form, uh, beginning the evolution of, my energetic friend today?
Well, to be honest, I didn't discover that because I had been suppressing it for so long.
Mhm.
You know, being young, I was getting whoopings for no or for as a kid for no apparent reason. I'm like, why am I being whooped? Like, what did I do? Right. And as I got older, I started to suppress these things because I didn't have that place, that outlet. So all through high school, I would find certain things where I was a dancer. Whenever I got the opportunity to grab the microphone, I'd get silly on it or do something. But still, there was kind of that underlying suppression to not really giving myself out there type of thing. And even, they try to put you in this box to where, hey, you should go get a regular job. And since you have a family now, there's no such thing as, what do you mean? You want to go do what? Because I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I just knew that there was an expression in me that I could not get out and didn't even understand. Now, there was voiceover, but no one in where I grew up knew what voiceover was. But why was I at an amusement park for a field trip? I'm like 8, 9 years old, and I'm just amazed at hearing, "Welcome to Paramount's Great America."
Yeah.
And I didn't have the bravado like that guy did at 9 years old, but I kept on hearing that while I'm in line. I'm going, "Welcome to Paramount's Great America." And my brain was like, "This is cool, man." And so I'd go home and I'd go, "Welcome to Paramount's Great America." And I felt that like, "Man, this is something's calling me. I don't know exactly what that is, but something's calling me." Fast forward to like through high school, I thought I could be a rapper, an MC, I mean, anything that has a microphone and start talking. Oh, but when I graduate, I'm gonna be in radio. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna study broadcasting. Went that route and it's on. Ooh, radio's not it. That's not where I want to be. Fast forward a little further. As I became an adult, again, I suppressed it once again because I got into radio thinking that's where I was supposed to use my voice,
Mhm.
but I didn't wanna get caught up with the politics and what was involved. And not seeing some of these radio people have some of the most fruitful lives. I was like, and I was a producer for a very long time, and watching just the perils of just like, man, that doesn't look fun. Ooh, he's got to deal with that. Ooh, God, Lord,
Wow.
no, I'm out of radio. Can't do this, and I'm not dealing with these people.
How long were you in radio at all? Not at all, but how long were you in radio total?
I would say about 4 years. I started off at like one station, then maybe things would be better at this station. Stay with the stay with that station. I would say about 4 years, and then excuse me, then I just realized that this ain't it. I think it was when um, you call them program directors,
Yeah.
and I was doing Armon outside of a club and thinking this is what I'm supposed to be, feeling me in a sense of like, let me represent this radio station. Let me do, what I mean, jazz it all up. Man, he came over, pulled me to the side out in the street and said, get over here. I was like, get over here. I'm a grown ass.
Don't talk to
What?
me like that. What
I'm
the
talking
hell?
like, what's going on? But I knew he's my boss, right?
Yeah.
But he comes up and takes his finger, starts putting in my chest and blah, blah, blah. And this is what we don't do. And I'm going, okay, that was it. That sealed the deal. So by that time, I went back to the corporate world thinking that this is what okay, let me just suppress again and be in the corporate world. I was in the corporate world for probably about 4 years, where I think 4 years it took my soul to be just getting eaten up.
Ooh.
Uh, Everything in me where it's like, dude, I turned down $110,000 a year.
Whoa.
And at that time, that was a lot of money.
Oh,
This
yeah, for
person,
sure.
yeah, and I'm going, this dude's all, you gonna turn down 100,000. I was like, yep, I can't do this. I'm out. And I took 60,000, but it was closer to home. Then I'm doing that job for like 2 years and still not feeling. I'm like, I'm got the money, it's coming in, but something in my gut, in my soul, it is the most craziest feeling, but it was dark. It was in a
Hmm.
place like the money wasn't, it didn't feel
It
right.
didn't fill the void. Yeah.
Didn't fill a void, right? And I should not be happy. I'm making all this money and doing this but whatever I was doing wasn't it. So, uh yes. The job that I was going to was taking me 2 hours commute
Mhm.
to get there and 2 hours back home. So I'm 4 hours in commuting. And in that time, I'm praying, talking to God, uh, rationalizing with myself every single day, and probably for about a good month, it's going back and forth, just going back, knowing, trying to find this answer that's inside me. And the only thing I can come up with at that point was I, I'm entertainer, not entertaining, dancing. I just knew this
Yeah.
wasn't me, regardless of the money. So at this time, I got a brand new house, brand new car, three, I say brand new children because they're all brand new children. They're
Look what
fresh
I
out.
got.
Yeah, they're fresh out the box, man. I mean, we're still in diapers and, that kind of thing. And because my kids came bang, 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 you know. And so here's this guy in this car driving. And once I left home at 4 a.m.
Oof, that's brutal.
to get to work, and I'm driving, I'm going, I think this is gonna be my last day. I was contemplating everything from how's my wife gonna take this? I got three
Mm.
kids, I got a brand new, but I can no longer work a 9 to 5 job. That was it. I didn't know what that looked like, but I was no longer gonna go to somebody and go, "Hey, fill out an application. Can I work for you? And how much you gonna pay me?" None
Now
of
what
that was
was
gonna be.
running what was running through your mind? Because I know and you know, of course, um, when you're married, there are certain responsibilities,
Mhm.
that the head of the household must, maintain and maintain well. The
Oh my
very
god.
first one is provision. So if you're contemplating, all right, I'm done with this job.
Mhm.
Um, what's going through your head is like, all right, then what's the next thing going to be? Because you're in a situation, you have all of these ideas in your head, or things you want to do, or things you want to pursue.
Mhm.
There's still uh, a young lady at home that you have to at least discuss these things with. So when
Yeah.
you're having that 2 hour drive, because 2 hours gives you a lot of time to think, sometimes very good thoughts, sometimes very dark thoughts, and you have to figure out how to eliminate the dark thoughts. It's like, all right, look, I got to tell
Mhm.
my wife, fill in the blank. So what was going through your mind, and talk about, you know, the process of that, because that's heavy.
Oh,
Imagine the gravity of that, knowing you got 3 little ones and
Mhm.
a wife, you just got new house, new car,
Mhm.
your new life is starting to begin, and you're deciding at that moment to make a whole shift
It's
out of
crazy,
nowhere.
right? It's a dark, dark place, but I had to be honest, I had the 2-hour drive, 8 hours of work, and then jump back in the car and 2 hours
And do
back
2
home.
more. So, you did no work that day because you like, "Man, what Imma tell her?"
Dude, I was in my head the whole entire day. I can remember it vividly, just going through if I was not just kinda numb throughout the whole day, knowing what decision I was gonna make on the way home, because this was gonna happen on my way home. Because I didn't call her all day. I didn't
Yeah,
tell her what was going on. I kept it, kept it cordial. But this was almost to the point where trying to understand the process of your mind in answering your heart. And I'm not sure if enough people in this world do that,
yeah,
and then you find yourself caught up in this dark place. But we all have something that we're that fits us, right? That square peg trying to fit into a round
yeah,
hole.
yeah,
And I believe a lot of my life was put in that position, and I kept on trying to bang myself in there regardless. And I'm shaving the edges of my core. That's the thing. And if I did not make that decision at that point, and I say, listen, when the divine hand is telling you something, you better listen,
you better listen.
because or not, you're gonna find yourself in a different place in life. And I think, matter of fact, I know, because I'm a testimony to that. You know what I mean? If there's any church folk listening, let me tell you, let me
Oh,
testify right
uh-oh, come
now.
on now.
So, um, yeah, to still trying to find that person
Mhm,
that was on that drive there. Because I really don't know who he was, but I know where his heart was, because wasn't my mind thinking anymore. It was my heart being driven in a particular direction. And it burns. It burns
mm,
because all of a sudden you're bold, you're courageous, uh um you just have courage for some reason. This courage that you're willing to lay it all down. And so let me tell you what I was thinking about. I was like, my wife may divorce me, take the kids, and she's got her mama to go to. So what am I gonna be left with? I don't know. Me and me figuring it out. That's what that's what it was gonna be left. So,
youth.
but I wasn't scared of it, man. I wasn't scared at all for some reason. And I'll speak on that bold ass dude later, but for some reason it was there. That's what I was supposed to like. All right, let's go. Not it's whatever it is, it's not this.
Right.
So that drive home, man, I had a a tablet, and on that tablet, I'm writing all the things that Imma tell her, and this is what her rebuttal's gonna be. If she says this, Imma say that. She says this, Imma say that. Okay, and if she wants to do this, then I'll settle for doing that. Dude, I was planning it out.
This
I
is
was ready to
well
go.
thought out. I
Oh,
gotta
it
take I gotta take a sip on that.
well, I don't know
That's
how
well
well
yeah.
thought it was, but as prepared as I was to jump on this phone, and I knew my wife wasn't a person that argues. What I was prepared for were possible tears, a bit of anger with a short, "Okay, that's what you're
Mm,
gonna do, I'm done with you. Okay, I don't get," what I mean? Man, your mind plays with you with all these fears that you think are, gonna go down, right? I'm thinking, "Oh, by
yeah,
the time I get home, it's gonna be not a scuffle, but it's gonna be an argument, and I gotta come up with something because 'cause I'm not losing this battle.
yeah,
I'm done."
you're thinking of every worst case scenario
Right,
instead of
right.
thinking best case scenarios. I just had a conversation, um, you know, and kids, this is something that kids do when they do something bad, well, not necessarily bad, if they do something where they could have asked for help, but they always go, "Yeah, but, you probably woulda wigged out on me." How do you know if you didn't ask?
Right,
You don't know what my mood could have been. I was gonna
right,
ask you, but I didn't want you being mad at me. Why would I be mad at you coming to tell me you need help with something?
right.
Or maybe I could have been mad. It all depends on the delivery and the purpose of why you're doing it, and have we
Yeah.
talked about it? Uh, so let's now switch gears. You
Mhm.
make the call and say, "Hey,
Ooh.
baby,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
I'll let you take it from there because I gotta
Yeah.
hear this."
So, yeah, I was getting ready to make this call, and back then, you got the flip phone, I just flipped it open.
I still got my total segue, but I was throwing some stuff out and I found my old Virgin Mobile flip. I'm like, why do I still have this?
Mhm.
And
Oh,
I decided to keep it because I'm just curious. I'm gonna plug it in and see if it works. But
mhm. It's an epic device. I think it's stronger than an iPhone is, you know what I mean? Technology, I mean, I don't ever remember a drop call back then. I just don't.
right, for real.
I do not. Now we just like,
Even
"Oh,
when you had to wait for 7 o'clock so your nighttime minutes kick in, I
right,
never dropped the call. Never.
right." So, I don't know what's going on with this technology today.
And that was
But,
on edge, not even 3G, but I digress. Please
right.
continue. That's a whole nother episode, but yeah. So
Yeah,
you make the call.
so as bold and, as ready as I thought I could have been for this
Mhm,
moment, um, the coward in me is doing this in the car. I got 2 hours left before I make it home, and, I know normally when I'm done with work, I just give her a call and be like, "Hey, I'm headed home," and I'll hang up. "Okay, cool." That way she
mhm.
doesn't have to worry that I'm headed home. But, the coward in me, I admit, did not wanna face this face to face because I figured if I seen her face to face, I would lose this battle. So maybe this was a strategic approach.
Ooh,
And I opened that phone up and I just called her up and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And she says, "How you doing?" I said, "Well, um, I'm done."
mm,
And she goes, "Okay." I said, "I'm done with this 9 to 5 bullshit. I'm done. I don't I don't ever want to go back to work for somebody 9 to 5, but I got to go home and figure out who I am. I got to figure out me. But I know it's not going to somebody's office. I know it's not jumping in somebody's delivery truck. I know it's not being somewhere where somebody got to pay me. I got to go out there. I know I'm there's something in me. I'm a
right.
dancer, not dancer, singer, not singing, entertainer, not entertaining. If that's what it is, I don't know if that's what, but I gotta take the time to figure that out. And I'm waiting.
Hmm.
And she goes, "Okay."
Wow.
Did you just hear what I just I didn't say that. I didn't say that back to her, but
Baby, I said
did you
I'm
not?
through,
Yeah.
or as they
Now,
say now, I'm sick of it.
yeah.
And
Now
she
I'm not sure
said,
if
"Okay."
the she said, "Okay." And I said, and she goes, "I just want my husband back." So
Oh,
even she knew there was a part of me missing.
yeah.
And
That's
working the
wow.
9 to 5, she was ready to take this ride with me, man. And so on that journey after that phone call, I came home and I had a year to figure this out. We did discuss the terms. She
Yeah.
said
She like, "Look, okay, cool, but we need to get some ground rules." But
so ground rules,
let's back up, just a tick. So, you've had 10 hours, basically,
mhm,
to think about your move. Then you tell the wife, "I'm sick of it," and for you, folks out there, that means I'm sick of it, but we sick of it. And, she says, "Okay, cool. Let's I wanna focus on her response
mhm,
because coming from a family who did not get you or understand you, who maybe didn't love you the way you need to be loved, and now you have this woman, you're thinking, again, every worst case scenario, and then she goes, "Okay, let's figure it out."
mhm,
What were you feeling then? Because I have a similar story,
mhm,
um, but I want you to share yours before I share mine. I've shared mine ad nauseum for people who already know the story, but, you know, and I say it because coming from the generation before us,
mhm.
no man was gonna just walk in the door, "Baby, I quit my job today," without maybe a rolling pin thrown at him, or, "You got to get the hell
Right.
out of my
Yeah.
house," and all of this.
Right.
So now, um, there's a generation of women
Mhm,
who are saying, "Okay," and like you said, she said, "I just want my husband back." That's the
yeah,
part that got me because, like you said, she saw something or she felt something or she knew, like,
mhm,
if this is what it's gonna take to make my family a family, because think about it, if you get up at 4 in the morning, get to work at 6, then you
mhm.
work 8 hours, and then you come
Yep,
back. So
yep,
that means you left when the sun was down, and you
mhm,
got home when the sun was down.
yeah,
And she may have had you to herself and the kids for maybe 4 hours till you had to go back to bed.
yeah,
I could understand that.
100%,
So
100%.
so talk about how that felt knowing now that all of those worst case scenarios you had, you were totally wrong. And she
Yeah,
was like, "Nah, I'm here. Okay, cool. Let's figure it out." Because I
yeah,
don't think we talk about that enough, about what it means to have a good supporting cast around you,
right,
um, not only emotionally, but mentally, and they both, tie together.
yeah.
So how did that make you feel, man?
Well, let me clear something up real quick. For my family's sake, I think they always supported me, but I didn't know what it is that I wanted to do. I've never given them a a straight and narrow like, "Oh, this is what he does." My mom was like, "Oh, let that boy do his thing. He out there doing his thing, right?" And everyone else, they all looked to me and knew I was doing something. I always think I would almost think that underlined,
Mhm.
they were concerned when I was doing regular jobs that I wasn't doing me too. You know what I mean? From my mom and,
Yeah.
because when I would call her, it's like, "Oh yeah, I got off work today." And she goes, "Oh, work, huh? You doing work, huh?" You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
in the pursuit of just doing things, I can never really take a job that kept me there for 8 hours. I could do four part-time jobs and be in
Mhm.
different places, but when it came down to having a family, I thought there was a role you were supposed to play. You know, come from? Like, you are
Yeah.
supposed to have a full-time job. You are supposed to come home at the end of the night, have dinner with your family, give kisses, go to bed. That's it. That's what I assumed the role I was supposed to play. And I really believe my mom and even my siblings were like, full-time job, huh? How's that going for you? So
Mhm.
without trying to insult me, I think they were kind of like, oh, okay. All right. Okay, I guess that's what he's doing. 'Cause my mom never praised me for doing, working a 9 to 5, working at an office or something like that. She never really
Yeah.
praised it. Yeah, I think it was a role that I assumed that I was supposed to do because, "Oh, this is where you get your medical, because we're gonna have kids, we're gonna be married, we're gonna have a house. We're supposed to have
Mhm.
this kinda job. That's what we're supposed to do." And I assumed that role. And for my wife's sake, the second she said that, let me just tell you, man, it gave me a whole nother respect for this woman. Like, damn, who are you? Like, who
Right.
are you to be supporting me like this? Who are you? And I could feel my heart grow even deeper to where it was like, or grow bigger
Big yeah.
for like, now I gotta prove it. Now I really gotta find out who this dude is because she wants to see him too. And man, when you have that in your corner, man, it makes you it makes you it
I
makes you
mean,
charge differently, man.
your chest gets a little wider, your
Woo!
arms get a
Yeah.
little yeah, I get it. I get that 100%.
Let's go.
Um,
Let's
and that's, and it makes me think about, my situation. I used to I was doing VO in the closet, and a lot of people still do. But here's where I'm
Mhm,
going with this. You know, I decided to get into a relationship, and I knew my work life balance was not so much work, but a whole lot
mm.
of life. And I'm like, okay. And as far as this voiceover thing is going, I'm doing it, but I'm not doing it. I'm doing it here,
Mhm,
but I want to do it here.
mhm,
And in order for me to go from here to here, sacrifices would have to be made. And even when Danielle and I were dating and living together, uh, I think I put more pressure on myself, not knowing that she would be the understanding person that I now know that she is.
mhm,
Um, Doing part-time jobs to where it left me time to, hey, I only work from 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. Now I can go home and record auditions for the rest of the day.
yeah,
Um, and going to the point to where maybe I did a few VO jobs here and there, but they were paying $200 here, $300 here.
yeah.
And I remember one instance where I needed gas money to get to work. And I was working at the Duval County Supervisor of Elections. Fun. It was actually a fun job because all I did all day was talk to seniors because they were
Oh,
calling in. It was during early voting all the way through the election. So my job was, thank you for calling Duval County or Jacksonville Supervisor of Elections. My name is Trey.
they got a
And
treat.
when I tell you some of these old sisters, what you say your name is? I'm like, hi,
Yeah.
good morning. My name is Trey. Trey, um, so I live out east. That's the east side of Jacksonville. And I'm trying to
Right.
find out what precinct is open for the early voting. I said, well, ma'am, in your area, you can go to, and I'm giving all the places. She was like, you sound like a handsome fella. Is you married? I'm like, no, 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 ma'am, I'm not married. I got a daughter. Hold on for a second.
Right.
This woman put me on. I know we have taken a whole tangent, but let me just I'm coming back. I promise I'm coming back. She puts
Right.
me on speakerphone,
Oh, shoot.
and she calls her daughter, "AJ, he sound good, huh?" She's like, "Mama, who you talking about?" And I'm like,
Oh, shoot.
"Um, do you need any more information, ma'am?" And she was like, "Dang, who is that? That's the man at the election place." And I'm sitting here on the phone like, I'm just trying to tell this lady how to go and cast a vote. She in here
Right.
trying to play, analog Tinder.
Right.
Like, can you send us a picture?" I'm like, "I
Right.
can't. I have other calls in queue, ma'am, but those are
Oh,
the
shoot.
precincts you can go to. Have a nice day."
Right, right.
So, I'm doing this. Fun job, but I'm still in the back of my mind thinking, "I just heard so and so on the promo.
Mm.
I want
Oh,
a promo." Or I'm playing a video game, like, "Man, that must be cool to be a part of the game." I'm already forward thinking. But I know in order to get to where I need to be to do those things, I need to dedicate more time to the craft, but I can't if I'm stuck here. But if I'm not stuck here, I can't make no money to give to the family. So
mhm.
it was a conundrum.
Oh, yeah.
And here I am, I'm working and I'm like, all right, look, I haven't got my first paycheck yet and my VO check ain't come yet. So could I borrow some money to get to work? And now I'm the kid who earlier when I was talking about it was like, well, I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want you to get mad. And she's like, why you didn't tell me earlier? Well, I didn't want to say nothing because I it, it's at least for and I'll just go bare bones. For men of color, it is
Yes.
very rare. It's in some cases very humbling, very
Oh,
difficult to
yeah.
where now you're in the role of support or having to be supported.
Supported, yeah. Yeah.
And you're coming hand in hand like, "Baby, I need a couple of dollars so I can get to
Mhm.
work and have lunch."
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
ugh, how does that and then you get the money, you're happy
Mhm.
until you get in the car and you just like, "I had to ask my lady for some money." You
Oh.
feel the shittiest of cities. Just,
Oh,
ugh.
that
See,
that that
you
oh.
understand.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that plate of ego,
yeah,
trying to cut
and
that
and
up,
and
that's
that's
like
what it
one of
is.
steak
And,
some leather steak, man. You can't chew
so
it,
that's
it's
why I
hard.
said I can understand because in my pursuit of this whole thing, um, your moment was she just said, "Okay," and that
Mhm.
gave you a feeling of, "All right, this may be okay." For me, my chest swelling moment, if you will,
Yes,
she
sir,
said,
share.
"Listen, I got us until I can. So whatever however long you need to go make this thing happen, I'm good." She was like, I was running stuff in this apartment before you moved in with me. I still
Mhm.
can." And I'm like, "But I wanna give you a little something." She's like, "What you give me, I cannot quantify monetarily." She was like, "You give me
Ooh.
stability, you give
Oh,
me security,
oh,
you give me something wrapped up in a package that I've never had."
oh,
And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm looking around the room because I'm like, "Where's the camera?" Because I know somebody gonna jump out and be like, "Gotcha! She don't mean that shit." But
Uh,
it was the total opposite, and
yeah,
that's why at least back then, I was sending out 50, 75 auditions.
yeah.
Um, by the time I went to bed, it was like 8 o'clock, and she's like, "How many do you send out today?" I'm like, "I did 30." "You did 30 auditions?" Like, "Yeah," because I had to get it.
Yeah.
So I would just want to share that because, hearing you
Oh,
talk about your wife and the support it made me think about mine and how she supported me. And to anyone out there that's watching, male or female, uh, it is such a powerful thing
mhm.
to know you have, your person or your people, your tribe, whoever
Yeah, that
that
part
will
for sure.
embrace you, pat you on the back and say, "Go."
Mhm.
Go do this. I gotta shout out my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
My mom sent me money to help me join the union, uh, even though
Mhm.
I did not use the money she sent me to join the union to
Oh,
join the
sh
union. I didn't have transportation, so I needed the car,
Yeah, there you
and I
go.
I I caught hell about that, but I did eventually join the union, just
Yeah,
not that year.
yeah,
My
yeah,
pop would send me checks, and he'd always have like a little note, "Hey, man, I hope this enough." I'm like, "Yeah, it's enough."
yeah.
So, having good family, uh, that surrounds you, that they see the bigger picture. They may not understand it,
Right.
because when you tell your family you doing voiceover, "What's that?" And you
What's
try to
that?
explain it.
Uh,
So you just talking? I say, the guy in the commercial that tell you, you know "Get this leather sofa for 12.99 at so and
right,
so wholesale." Yeah. I'm like, "I'm
right.
trying to do that." "Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, hey, baby, go for it." They don't understand how it works.
Yeah.
I remember
It
seeing a picture of an iceberg, which
Mhm.
was probably a very tiny iceberg, and they showed it split level. So you see it at sea level where it's this big,
Oh, yeah,
but you
yeah.
don't see the monstrosity at the bottom. It's like what
Mhm.
people think you do in voiceover. This
Right.
little tiny. thing is what you really do, but then the thing at the bottom is what they think you really do. I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. And that
let's
supporting staff is so
yeah,
deep, and why does it have to be that way? Why, what is it going after something like this you need? Like, what do we get ourselves into? Because that supporting staff doesn't come when you just go get a regular job. It doesn't come.
right.
But when we go out to explore, because it is my job, hosting and voiceovers, acting, it's my job, right?
Mhm.
But why does it need this entire infrastructure to help you push through it? Why is that? Is that's the mystery that still gets me to this very
I think
day.
I know what it is, at least this is my interpretation. When you go apply to be the guy who cuts the pizzas up at Costco, um, you're just the guy that and this is no disrespect to anybody at Costco or Sam's. My point is, there are jobs out there that we go do, and people say, "Hey," going back to those old commercials, "Hey, Calvin got a job at McDonald's." Everybody's happy
Yeah.
that Calvin's working and he's doing something that in society and in mainstream society, you get a job, you work it for 20 years, 30 years, you get to go watch, you
Mhm.
retire.
Mhm.
Careers like ours, be it on screen or voiceover, you are literally being stripped of all you're naked pretty much. And you're asking your family to support you to walk
Yeah.
down the street naked until someone decides to wrap you up in swaddling clothes, i.e. a
Right.
job. So
Exactly.
we're exposing ourselves to failure every day.
Yeah.
Every day
It's
we're either
incredible.
gonna win the day or we're gonna lose the day. But no matter which outcome, we have to seize the day. If you wake
How
up like,
how
"All right, let me go out here and do 3, 4, 5 auditions on Monday." By Friday, you book 2, you're not so naked anymore.
Mhm.
You don't feel as exposed. But if
Yeah.
you've gone a week with no work, a month with no work, and then family's like, "Hey, you still doing that VO thing?" And you wanna say, "Yeah," it's like, "Yeah, I'm still, trying to do it." Now you're starting to self-doubt instead of like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
things are good, I had a couple of auditions," and it
Yeah,
all
yeah.
depends on how it makes you feel at the end of the day. If you speak of it as if it's an ongoing thing, eventually it will be an ongoing thing, but if you come into it, "Yeah, I gotta see what happens." Well, every day we wake up, we gotta see what happens.
True. And
Hell,
it's
going
just
down the stairs, you gotta make sure nobody's slipper on the step, and then
true.
all of a sudden, it's I didn't see what
Right.
happened,
Right.
So, but in our profession, I think a lot of our insecurities and doubts and fears are so, put on display. They are, oh, I can't think of the word. They're enlarged. They're bigger than,
I guess.
you know I
Yeah.
mean, well, look at it this
I
way.
don't I don't
If
know who
you
made the rules for this stuff. It's baffling because I live, we live with that all the time. And
Yeah,
it's you, because we took this leap of not doing the norm. But in our world, what we do, it's normal to us, right?
to
But
us, yeah.
to the rest of the world, it's not normal. What do you mean you do what? Huh? And how do you do about it? I don't know how many times I get the question, like, how did you become a host? Like, what's a host? What's an MC?
Yeah.
Well, that's
You
what
went
I
you went to
do.
school for that? No.
Right. What school did you go to for that? You don't go to school for that. And I think if because we're not put into that typical category of things that you do in life, right?
Yeah,
It 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 just becomes that much harder to get through it or to do it. It takes, I don't know. Listen, I'm just grateful to be able to have the ability to do it and enjoy it and love it 100%, and didn't know how
absolutely.
much I loved it until I believe it found me, honestly, because I was coming down to to the year.
Mhm.
My eve was about to be up where my wife was going to be like, "Ooh, it's come, year." And I
You
swear,
Looking
So,
at that clock like,
looking at that clock for
you got
sure.
10 minutes till the
Yeah,
year
you
is
got
up.
yeah, it's about to be up
So
and,
talk about that. So she's giving you your time frame to
in
get it
support,
popping.
in support.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
in in support. So I got to that where I was trying every little thing and still trying like, "Oh, maybe I should go do this, or work on this and try that," right? Did not know I wanted to be a to do voice anything. Didn't even know I wanted to hold a microphone. I was just trying to find myself in entertainment somehow. I didn't know
sure.
what that scope looked like. I asked a friend, I was like, "Hey, I was coming down, I felt like, okay, well, I done gave it a try. I done did my best." And I
Yeah.
asked a friend that I worked with at another company. I was like, "Hey, I see you at another job. You think you can get me a job there?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll get you hooked up." I was like, "Cool, cool." And I'm telling you, we are scraping. Scraping, man. I'm using whatever social services that I could use to pay for this, pay for that. We are scraping because she's not making enough to pay for our house. She's not making enough to pay for the car. And luckily, I had got this blessing out of nowhere. It was like $10,000 from a lawsuit.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And I was like, wait, from a previous job. And I'm going, whoo, I'll take that.
Hello. They sure
Yeah,
will.
so that came and it was like, "Honey, look, maybe I'm supposed," I was trying to find all these reasons to justify my decision. And
Yeah.
that $10,000 comes in and makes things light a little bit, took care of some bills, but we were still in that position to where I was like, "Mm, all right, Armand, you about to lose the house, you're gonna lose the car, and if you don't find something, there's a chance you might lose your wife."
You're gonna lose the woman. Yeah.
Ugh, I was gonna, and I was ready to give in and go back to working a 9 to 5, but I was gonna do it under different conditions. I'm gonna go take a graveyard job,
There
and
you
then
go.
during the
Hey,
day, I could do me.
been there.
So I got there and I asked this dude. I got the interview all set up, everything, and then I got this job because my friend hooked it up. I walk in to the office and I'm walking in, and the guy's already laughing at me. I'm like,
Hey,
"Pleasure
you
to meet
laughing
you."
at? Right.
"Yeah, yeah, we got a friend in common. Hey, hey, how's you doing?" And he sits down, he goes, "So what's up?" I go, "What's up?" He goes, "Can I be honest with you?" And he said, and I'm like, "Sure,
Yeah.
I would hope so." He goes, "You just walk in the door, your energy, your aura, I can't, I wouldn't do you any favors giving you this job."
Wow. First of all,
But
what the hell you mean?
yeah, what exactly? I'm like, "I could do this job." He goes, "Oh, no. I think you're very capable of doing this job, but I don't think I would be doing you any favors giving you this job. The guys I hire are kinda off the street." I'm like, "No, no, no. I get it. I get it. I'd come in here and
I
I'd
mean,
do the
if you
job."
don't hire me, I'm gonna be
Yeah,
one of those
I'm
guys
gonna
off
be
the street,
off
literally.
the street. Yeah, I'm
That
trying to plead my case with homeboy. I'm like, "Duke," like, he goes, "Hey, if you want, you can I would love to forward you over to store management. I think you'd be awesome, but your resume and kinda what I can't do that to you." I'm like, "Man, come on, I just want a job," like, literally. And he was like, "I appreciate you, man." He goes, "But when you wanna be like the store manager or something like that, come back and see me." He didn't want me doing graveyard. He thought my qualifications could be higher to do. I was like, "Okay, all right." So I
shit.
gotta go home and tell my wife I was so excited about getting this job. I was gonna get it, and now I'm not gonna get it. How I break the news to her, I get home, the phone rings. I pick up the phone out of nowhere. Just I get home, the door opens, the phone rings. Pick up the phone. They go, "Hi, this is so and so from Arco Arena." I was like, "Oh yeah, how's it going? We had you down. You filled out an application to be an usher." I was like, "Now, mind you, in this pursuit, I've been fit because I can feel the deadline coming. I'm
Mhm.
putting applications out everywhere. Boom, boom." And I'm like, "When did I fill out an application for that?" She goes, "Oh, we got your application probably about 3 months ago." I'm like, "Oh, that long ago?" So of course I forgot. Out of the 100 applications that I filled out. So I was like, "I'll take it. Yeah, yeah, I'll be there for the interview."
Yeah, and for those who
I
don't
go in
know,
for the
Arco Arena is in Sacramento.
yeah, at the time. It was this
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful arena. And, they come up in and said, "Oh, yeah, you want this job?" I'm like, "Sure, sure." And I got the job. And when I was trying to get the job, I realized that I filled out for 2 positions, but when the guy who told me that was interviewing me, he goes, I swear, look me in the eye and go, "This is the job you want." I was like, "Oh, okay." As if I was like,
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I'll take the job."
Right.
Now, when I say the divine hand was has had to been involved at every little step, right? Because you never know what's coming at you. So I get the job. Orientation is October 3rd, and you must or October 3rd, and you must be there because it's going to be inside the arena and it's everybody at this orientation, meaning salespeople, execs, blah, 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 everyone who's associated with Arc Arena. Great. I show up to the orientation, and on the where would be like a basketball court is this stage, and on this stage it's light, a little bit of lighting, whatever, catch. And this guy comes up, and I'm sitting there just chilling. Do do do. Got me a job. I'm gonna be an usher. This is so cool, dude. I was just happy to get an opportunity to
You
do
just,
something.
"Hey, I'm getting a check. I'm good."
I'm getting a check, dude. Haven't had a check for over a year. So
Yikes.
imagine that. A
No,
check. I
I
haven't
don't
had a
have to
check for
imagine.
over
I've
a
been there,
year.
sir.
Yeah. And so I'm about to get some, bring some money in to help out. This dude comes out on the microphone and goes, "What's up, Sacramento?" Now, when I tell you the scene from like Ratatouille, when the mouse got something, some good old food plopped in his mouth, and fireworks and everything started going off, poo poo, pee pee poo, and my heart goes, and I was like, I'm like, what just happened? Who is this guy? And what is it? So the girl sitting next to me, I go, "Who is this dude?" She goes, "Oh, that's Big Mike." And I go, "Who is Big Mike?" And she goes, "Oh, that's Big Mike. He's the MC for the Sacramento Kings, encore MC for the." And I go, "What's an MC and who are the Sacramento Kings?" Like that,
Wait a
right?
minute. So you had no
Dude,
idea about basketball?
I had no idea about the NBA. I
Wow.
only team I knew was the Golden State Warriors because I lived in San Francisco.
Right.
So I'm going, I don't know who no Sacramento Kings are, but she's like, "Oh yeah, well, you're an usher, so you get to see him in action, and as an usher, you get to walk anywhere around the building." All of a sudden, I can see opportunities. Like,
Mhm.
I am going to oh my god. Let me tell you, first day at work, I was the first guy in and the last guy to leave. Too early and always too late leaving.
Right.
And I got there, seen what this man did, and I was like, every day at work going, "Oh my god, I can do that. I could do that. I could do that. I could." Like everything was answering in me. And so now, as an usher, I'm just so excited to be there. I'm like, "Oh my god, who is he talking to? Oh, he's talking to that person. Oh, blah, blah. Okay, how do what's my sales pitch on this one?" And I would get down there and go, "Oh, yo, my name is Armon. Yeah, and I could do that job, man. What do I need to do to get that job?" And guy at the time was his name was Maurice, was like, "Oh yeah, well, blah, 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 blah." He'd kind of feed me whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm going, "Yeah, but man, I really couldn't do that job." And they kind of laughing at me, "Well, you're an usher." So I was like,
You wanna
"Okay."
do that, but we already
Yeah.
have the guy. Speaking of, so now that you're there and you're becoming entrenched into,
Mhm.
Armand the usher, but yet
Mhm.
you have your sights on Big Mike the MC.
Oh yeah.
Was there ever any interaction between you 2? Like like mentor mentee, or was he just like, "Hey man, this is my job. I need you to back the hell off because I'm Big Mike." Like how did what was that dynamic like?
He never knew I was out for his job. But,
Okay.
when he come around, I'd go, "Oh, look at Big Mike." I'm like, "Well, look at him." My eyes were wide. And so harping on the guy that I thought was my point of contact, Maurice. I was harping on him every day, like, "Dude, how can I?" Every time I was like, "Oh, there's things that I could do differently." Because Big Mike, he was kind of untouchable. He was like the celebrity at a Kings game, and there was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
But Maurice knew. Maurice knew. I would tell him, like, one time I got on the phone with him from talked his ear off for an hour. Bless his heart. He sat there and listened. And one day I'm ushering a boxing match, and Maurice is there
Mm,
producing it, right? He's, so the crowd's a little more tame. It's not a big bunch of people, it's like a local boxing group that rented the arena, right? So
yeah.
now I got a chance to really talk to Maurice and just kind of be like, and so he comes over to me one day that day, and he's all, "Hey, we have some auditions." He goes, "I know you want the opportunity to be on the mic and all that kind of stuff, but we're looking for people to be on our I team." And I go, "What's the I team?" I was like, "Oh, I know who they are. Them people that run around like the hoop troop and throw stuff out to the crowd,
T-shirts and had the guns and
t-shirt." Yeah, yeah. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and I was like, and he's like, "There could be some opportunities to be on the microphone and all that kind of stuff." Man, let me tell you, this is how this went down. I said, "Nah, I'm good." Trey, I took 7 steps to the left. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you, though. Boom, boom. If a divine hand did not slap me in the back of the head. Now I tell you,
And slap you back over.
yeah, when God has his power, he will reveal it. And I said like this, and it's back in my head. And went back over to him and I was like, and it said, "Get over there and tell that man you gonna take that audition."
Mhm.
And I go, "Okay, Maurice, what yeah, just email me the information. I'll go to the audition." And I went back over, got the email. He emails me. I show up at the audition. Now I don't know who this cocky ass dude was that showed up to this audition, but his name was Armon, but I don't know who he
You don't
was
know who he
because
was.
he was because I got to this audition. I said I'm gonna turn these people out. So because I watched them for an entire basketball season, what they do. So I got into this audition. I said, okay, I'm gonna get in there and turn this audition out. So they threw everything at me to do this audition. Whoop de whoop, and I'm throwing my pizzazz, whatever in there. So at the end, there's this four tables,
Yeah.
and each table is an interview. So the first table I go up to, they go, "So, why do you want to be on the I team?" I said, "I don't." "Excuse me?" I said, "Yeah, I don't." "So why are you here?" I said, "Well, I was told if I do this I team thing and take it to the next level, maybe I'd get an opportunity to be on the microphone because I want Big Mike's job."
Mm.
"Oh." She points
Wow.
down to the 4th table all the way. Like, I tell you, Trey, I don't know who this dude was. I'm like, "Who is this dude talking trash like this?" So I go to the 2nd table and same thing. "So why do you wanna be on the I team?" I said, "I don't." So this got down to the very last table, which was the actual, entertainment manager, the
Uh,
main man.
it sounded like it's about to get good. So
Yeah, so I get to this table and, he goes with the same pitch. "So, why do you wanna be on the I team?" He goes, "Hold
don't.
on."
Uh-oh.
No, he stopped me. He goes, "You don't."
Oh,
And I was like, yeah." I was stuck.
hey,
This man was
he
smart.
he
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 had
didn't
me,
he shot you down, you know,
shot
so
me down. And then he goes, "So, why are you here?" I was like,
right.
"Well, and I gave my pitch. I said, "Well, I think I can join Big Mike and maybe be a co-host or something like that." Dude, I was pitching. I'm like, "Who is this guy?" And he goes, "Well, what does this take things to the next level? What does that mean?" I've heard that term kind of thrown around. That if you take things to the next level, you would, you want this job. I was like,
Mhm.
"Well, I guess you'd have to hire me to find out." So he goes, "Whoa, okay."
Okay. Like, slow your roll, youngster.
"Oh, you're wrong. Yeah, who was this dude?" So fast forward, I got the job. I did take the I-team thing to the next level, and it took me about a year and a half. And Big Mike wasn't getting didn't well, we knew Big Mike was he's the man. This is his show, but
Mhm.
a new director was coming in. And the new director came in, had a very big ego. I didn't know that much. And I just heard through the grapevine that things didn't work or things weren't going to be working out. And the rest was history. And I had did an event prior to that that Big Mike did not show up to. Big Mike did not show up
Ooh.
to an outdoor event.
Ooh.
So,
We've all
they
heard this
said
story before.
they said, "Well, we might have to cancel this event because Big Mike, can't make it." And at the time, you'd bring Big Mike out with the I team because the I team was gonna get the crowd going. When Big Mike shows up, everyone goes, "Woo woo," goes crazy. He does all the introductions. They bring me in. They're like, "We're gonna cancel the event because Big Mike." And I said, "No, no, 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 no. Hold on a second. You don't have to cancel this
Here comes
event.
that guy.
I can do it." And the girl goes, "You? Like, you?" Like, I was like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I could do it. I could do it." She goes, "Let me make a phone call." So she makes that phone call, and dude, the best thing ever happened. She just walks up and goes like this with the microphone. She goes, "It's all you."
No, not now,
I'll
that's
take
what you
that.
asked for.
Oh, yeah, I took that bad boy, but inside of me, I was like, "Ooh," crying. Oh, so yeah, man, I just went, did what I do. And a few months later, he wasn't coming through. He wasn't coming back to the Kings. They needed an MC, and called me and two other MCs because they wanted to try out some people.
Yeah,
And the Maloofs, who were the owners of the Kings at the time, had seen me do a few games, and they were like, "We want that guy to do the games. Have him, him right there, and that guy." So, I got the gig, and the rest is history, man. And there's beyond that, there was just people supporting and making sure that I was on top of my game. And lo and behold, here I am. Here I am.
here you are, and thinking about that story now to and I talked on it earlier, to some of the things you've been able to be a part of. Uh, for one, the Kentucky Derby.
Mm,
Um, it's just it's such a cool thing. I've done some hosting things here and there, but
mhm.
you are so entrenched in it. Um, talk about some of your favorite events that you've done. I
Oh,
know you love the
man.
Kentucky Derby because you get all, like I said, all snazzy. I saw you with your little suit
Snazzy.
on. I was like, look at him, looking like a Baptist preacher. But
I
talk about
almost
some
gave
of your
that gig away, man. I almost gave it
really.
away. I almost did, yeah, man. I got the email and said, "Hey, what are you doing in a couple weeks?" I go, "Nah, nothing." And,
Mm,
said, "Would you be interested in doing the Kentucky Derby?" And I was like, "The Kentucky Derby? Me? Mm." So, well, yeah, send us your information, your demo reels and blah, 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 or no, it was, "Could you send us something showing you just talking and doing an interview or just showing that you talk?" Because my previous demo reels had me just going, "Rah! Yeah, rah," doing all that crazy stuff, right?
yeah,
So nothing really showed me standing still and talking. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, I can whip that up." But in the midst of me trying to put together a little quick little sizzle reel of me actually talking, I was on the phone trying to give the gig to somebody else that I would figure would fit the
be
part
better.
better than
Yeah,
me.
man.
And reason being is because I believe that it was this that wouldn't fit the derby.
Yeah.
A moment that not only do I feel the system has conditioned us to take those precautions, okay? And I take fault in that because I submitted to it versus going, "Hell yeah, of course they want me." I
Right.
didn't look at it that way. I was like, "Well, if I don't get it, at least a friend can get it. Someone who I think fits the demographics that they're looking for." So the call comes back and the person who was hiring me goes, "Okay, uh, whatever she was saying, but she can hear the pause in my voice." And I was like, "But it you
Had that
she
indecision.
goes, "They seen your demo reel." Oh,
So they've seen you now.
seen me. Yeah. They already know what I look like.
Yeah.
They've already lightweight already made their decision. They just wanted to see if I knew how to just behave and talk, right? In a sense, rather than being all blah,
Yeah.
and which is actually my true nature. So when you have to sit me down to talk, right? That's hard for me. But that's what worked for me in the other department of what I was doing for the NBA because I was with the Kings, the Clippers, just NHL, I did MLB. I've covered all professional sports. I've done some amazing, and now it's kind of rolling over to um, more this title executive no, excuse me, corporate executive host, uh, director. What does that mean, you ask?
Yeah. What does that
Yeah.
mean?
So you asked about me being in Puerto Rico, did you not? Right?
I did.
And in
Yeah, I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I have clients that take me everywhere from Disney World, Puerto Rico, the Philippines, places like that. And the reason they take me there is because as an corporate executive host, I would go on their retreats, their incentive trips and stuff like that. And so what I do is more of a voice of the event, the facilitator, kind of like a cruise director, but on land.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it does.
So everything from their team building programs to award ceremonies to their morning lunch, morning breakfast. Typically, companies take the opportunity to talk to their employees, talk to their partners, and bring them all together and speak on that kind of thing. Well, in most cases, they need someone to introduce, someone to kind of bring it all together, and that's me. So that's where it's kind of evolved to, and it's been a beautiful thing to be able to just take my wife. "Where we going, honey?" "Oh, we're gonna go to Puerto Rico, or we're gonna go to the Bahamas, or we're gonna go here." And all I gotta do is, go out there and enjoy the vacation with everybody else, but be the voice. "Everybody, it's dinner time. Everybody, it's time for the award ceremony. Everybody," whatever it may be, or
Y
I'm doing a
You're
voice
that
for their
guy that
videos.
comes out, "What's going on, National Association of Dentists?" And they like,
That's right. Right. "How
and,
you doing?"
"Dental Hygienist of the Year goes to," and then
Right.
you go
Yeah.
chill out. That
That's
I
right.
mean, it's again, it's one of those, jobs that you don't know a lot of people that do it, because other than you and, like I said, the few jobs I do, there is a young lady I know, but I don't know. I know her because she does work with the Raiders, but we haven't I don't know her, come on, sit down. "Hey, girl." Her name is Sibley Scholes.
Oh, yeah.
Sibley, if she's not here doing stuff for the Raiders, then she's on television doing stuff, I think either Access Hollywood, one of those entertainment shows, and
Yeah.
she is everywhere. That's it. You and her are the only people I know that kind of do this entertainment thing all over. Um Looking back at the drive and the
Mhm.
phone call
Mhm.
and fast forward till now, the one constant uh in all of that has been um your wife and kids, which leads me into, as we're about to wrap this up, um and I kind of already know the answer to this, but again, for the sake of sharing it with the folks that are watching. So at the end of our segments, we
Mhm.
always ask our guests how they take time out for themselves.
Okay.
So I give you the floor, Mr. Armon Newton. How do
Tre
you take
Mosley.
how do you take time out for yourself? Like I said, I know the answer already because I've seen the pictures, but
Yeah.
tell the folks out there what
I
you love to
would
do,
have well, you know what, Trey, oh, man, yeah, yeah. How do I take time out for myself?
because you're a big
I
family man.
Yeah, yeah. I ride dirt bikes, I scuba dive, I jump out of planes, I got a very adventurous family, man. They keep me busy. They quickly find ways to spend that money. Yeah, "Dad, where we going next?" Um, Family is everything, man. In this world of what we're doing and how we do it, family is everything, and every ounce of time that I get to do that, um, is how I spend my time and how I take my time out to do that. Um, and that's where it's at, man. I mean, sorry to give it all this little smushy stuff or,
Man, hey,
something not
that's
sounding more
do
adventurous,
do
but,
what you do.
uh, in this land of what we do now listen, here's the truth, and I always tell people this. I'm a country boy with a city job. straight up. You know what I mean? I am a country boy. So for my chances to get out, go be with horses, go be on a farm, be on some land, that's it for me, man. So we the adventurous family. We do other things other side from going to the city. We try to avoid the city by all means. So if that's a bit, I don't know, is that the best I can get?
Hey, we will take whatever you give. There are no wrong answers on this show. Uh,
Yeah,
there are no wrong answers. There are no
you know
prizes
what?
either, but there are no wrong answers.
Yeah, no, there is a prize. There is a true prize, and that prize is getting that time to spend with you, talk to a mentor of mine,
Oh, come
and a mentor of mine be able to uh, pull stories from me and be able to share that. You know what I mean? We do need a part 2 because there's so much more that I didn't let out,
on.
but thank you. Thank you for the platform, and I'm so grateful for somebody like you to have this platform because you have the gift to be able to talk and pull things out of people, and it's a gift of yours, and I'm grateful to be a part of that. So there is that gift. That is that prize that I did receive, and just being here for that. So thank you.
Well, see, look at that. You got a prize, and even I didn't know it. So congratulations. Tell him what he's
Woo!
won.
Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I can't I can't follow that. So, how do the fine folks out there get to follow you and see the things that you do and give them all your socials and stuff, man.
Well, my socials, those things that I am not so good at. I must admit that I've come from the land of we just do it and we just put it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I usually have to have my kids do my social media, so I go. So what did you post today? And I've been taking a break from that. But if you want to check out some of the stuff that I've done, you can always go to at Armon the host on Instagram, and I have a website Armon J Newton at .com. That's it. It's real simple. That kind of gives a little bit of what I do, and in this midst of doing so much more, yeah, that's kind of where it's at.
And that's where it is. I am Trey. This is Armand. And thank you all for watching another episode of the Take Time Out with Tre Mosley podcast. And we'll see y'all next time. And we out here. Thanks for listening to the Take Time Out with Tre Mosley podcast, part of the Titan Media Network. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcast. To see the video version of this, you can find us on YouTube on the Take Time Out with Tre Mosley YouTube page. Thanks for listening, or thanks for watching. Either way, we'll see you next time.